Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Saratoga Daily, presented by On the Wrong Lead. I am Mark, and I'm here with the one and only Chase. He is Guy on the Ground on Discord. He is of Oaklawn on the Twitter, and he is the purveyor, chief cook, and bottle washer of JustPickWinners.co, which is
.net.
his. Oh, it's at .net. Your .net.
Yeah, it's .net.
Oh, my bad. Okay, JustPickWinners.net.
I'm keeping it old school, like a GeoCities blog.
Nice, man, nice. So Chase, I know we were chatting through the card today, and I think you were having a fairly good day on your sheet. What sort of stuff were you seeing?
Well, one thing that really stuck out was, and you didn't have any routes today. Everything was a 6 to 6.5 furlong sprint, and so what you saw was that the uh, hip pocket trip, that really close up stalking just right off of a horse's right flank, was lethal. I can't name a horse that didn't win off of that trip today. It seemed like I don't know. I want to say that maybe the rail might have gotten a little bit deeper on the backstretch because it seemed like people getting that rail trip really flattened out. Some success for horses coming out very wide, but not enough to really write home about. It was kind of. I don't want to say it was all over the place because there was something very consistent, which was that 2 to 3 path trip, stalking getting home. But other than that, dirt was the bane of my existence today a little bit. But the turf looked extremely closer friendly. We had some horses that I felt like closed very strongly. Granted, some of them might have been just really much the best in those races, but I feel like they closed really strongly into some pretty soft paces. We're talking about, you know, 50 to the half, just shy of 50 to the half. Um, the only turf race that I saw that you know was extremely speed favoring was the maiden race, and that horse really just kind of ran that field into the ground. And also with maidens, I really don't expect a lot of just deep closes.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I think we had a conversation that for some reason Arad seems to be the only person that is able to get those pocket trips, and I think he had what 4 or 5 some sort of winners on the day. He had a phenomenally good day. He was cleaning house in the dirt, and he was consistently sitting that trip. Even when he looked like he was on a real speed type, he would rate them a bit, sit in that pocket, get that nice pocket trip, and he did had a really good day. I would agree with you. I think that when we had this conversation as well, I think if you were on the rail, 1 or 2 path, the rail is pretty good in the stretch. I sort of think the 3 through 7 or so paths are not that great. I think if you were to be way outside, it might be okay. I know the last couple of days we've seen a similar sort of stretch bias, where if you're way outside in the stretch, it seems to be that you can make up a lot of ground. But I don't know if jocks haven't figured that out, or that's just not the trip that they're getting us set up for. And I would say until further notice, speed is absolutely dead on the turf. I just would toss speed horses if you're on the lead on the turf. With the exception of that maiden race, and we were joking around, in chat about the fact that Chad Brown maiden winner may be an absolute monster because that horse was able to go to the front end and carry, and just no one else is. That's the first time I've seen a speedy type on the turf do anything. So that seemed to be pretty consistent. And I think what we said last night when I had Josh on, I would toss Diodora and Cohen until further notice. Wendell Fogg should have run much better than he did, and he was a massive disappointment. And I think until proven otherwise, those connections are fairly dead.
He was Wendell Fong was a really good example of a horse getting that very close to the rail. Trying to be the ground saving, pocket trip kind of horse, and just really completely flattening out. I want to say the only horse that I saw make up any real ground in the up the rail during the stretch today was Prairie Fire.
Yes,
Who was that was my
that was
top pick in that race.
that 5 horse, right?
Yeah, it was my top pick in the race. It was a Linda Rice horse that's 15 to 1 on the morning line. But I want to say, just off the strength of Linda's performance so far this meet, it got that down to around 7 to 1, 8 to 1.
Yeah, I would completely agree with you on sort of all that bias. And I will say that we have actually on the stream given out 2 days in a row successful pick threes. Neither one of them paid huge or anything, but they were correct, and I think we had some been giving out some decent information. So hopefully we can keep that going tonight. What are you looking at as you look at the card tomorrow?
Well, as someone who just spent the last 5 minutes talking bias, it's pretty evident that I am very much a biased player, and I try to look for sequences that have races with biases at distances on surfaces where I feel really comfortable saying that the bias is in play, and I can make some moves to maybe eliminate some strong favorites using that bias. Or trying to find a couple of prices. So I really kind of honed in on the early pick four sequence, races 2 through 5, with the idea that I might play two rolling pick threes with starting in race 2 and another in race 3, and then try to play like a pick four kind of that just overarches across the entire sequence.
No, I kind of like that. I think of the sequences, the one that's more sort of slammable is this early. I think actually this pick five early maybe something you could actually play with a fair amount of leverage. I think there are 2 or 3 really potential singles in here. I think you're going to probably try to get around a couple of them, which I don't mind that approach. I think in the second, the Kinky Socks, who's the one horse here, who's 9 to 5 on the morning line. That horse is going to probably take a ton of money, and you're probably going to get more like 3 to 5 or 4 to 5 range. Horse is kind of jumps out on figs here. Cancel's been good on the horse. It's a horse that I think doesn't necessarily need the lead, but can be, maybe sit that trip you're talking about, sit behind the pace of somebody like the 2 Overtime Olivia, or some of the other. I think there's another speed in here if I remember right. Yeah, Hot Little Honey is going to be probably more forwardly placed. And Tis a Kitten also maybe forwardly placed. So hopefully can sit that pocket trip, and get into the stretch. Cancel can roll out and sort of take over, and does sort of have some dominating figures in this race.
Yeah, Kinky Socks on paper looks every bit that part of a horse that would be down to 3 to 5, and I would, without what I saw today, probably just say, yep, it looks like Kinky Socks race, and let's move on. But with the way that the track was playing today, and assuming that I might get that again tomorrow, I'm very interested in trying to take a stand with the win bet, and also play a trifecta and use this horse in my pick 3 and pick 4, number 7 movie score. What I'm kind of anticipating is the 2 horse going out to the lead, kind of towards the rail, which today was absolute suicide. And when I kind of envision that, what I see is movie score being able to sit in that little off the flank trip, and be ready to kind of take that going into the stretch. We'll definitely have to hold off Kinky Socks late, but I feel like movie score is an opportunity to kind of use what I've been seeing with these horses that are dropping back pretty far off the pace, actually not being able to get home. So I'm probably going to use Kinky Socks, but very heavily use movie score in that pick 3 that I start this leg. So looking at like a 1-7 to start the pick 3. And if I'm playing it horizontally, since Kinky Socks looks pretty strong, I'm going to use it in a part wheel. And what I'm probably going to do is play Kinky Socks with movie score on top, and go with something like a 1-7, a 1-2-7, and then spread at the bottom with a 1-2-4-6-7 and a trifecta.
Yeah, I like the try structure quite a lot there, actually. I think that's you're very good on those, and sort of how to build those in a way that's profitable long term. And I think that's a nice nice thing you always bring to the program that I like, because I'm not somebody that approaches that world, that vertical world the same way. I tend to be much more horizontally focused. I was throwing up the optics here, and we had a couple people talking about how do you read optics and how do you use it. The 30-second overview here, try to keep it less than that. Horses to the left are going to be more forwardly placed early. horses that are higher up should be theoretically faster. They have more potential velocity. And if you see a square, as the one Kinky Socks is, those are horses that have the ability to close. So the bigger the square, the more closing ability that horse has. So Chase is talking this 2 here, which will be forwardly placed. 5 should also be forwardly placed per optics. And he's going to try to use this 7, who's going to be able to kind of sit behind those horses. I'm thinking that the 1 who's coming probably from a little further back, hopefully with this few horses, Ken Salvaire can work a little better trip and maybe not be as far off from it. I do like your strategy here. You're getting 6-1 on the morning line, and I think it's a horse that I did use the horse. I do want the horse some way. I don't know if it's a B or a C for me, but I do sort of like movie score here a bit.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to bet at 6-1, especially with Kinky Socks 9-5 on the morning line, and us talking a possible 3-5. Well, that money's going to go
Got to go somewhere.
primarily there. Yeah, so it's gonna leave a big gaping hole in the win pool where I feel like you could even possibly see movie score double digits, if not in the 8 to 9 to 1 range.
Yeah, I would think at those kind of odds, that's definitely win bettable, and it's also one where you can probably get quote unquote cute and play that horse on a skinnier ticket as a single, because you're going to get a much outsized payout should you get it home. So I think you were talking some rolling threes. So let's take a look at this third race.
Yeah, going to 5.5 on the turf, and last time I checked, the inside was garbage, and last time I checked, when I just checked the PPs, I'm seeing that the rail is still set at 12 feet. So I have absolutely no reason to believe that has changed in the slightest. Um, there's a horse that, by run style alone, the Briz run style, Stop War is your lone E here. But I'm also seeing some pace figures from some of these horses that are from the outside that make me think that one is pretty cheap speed, and they're going to be able to kind of sit off of it. The only threat with that one is that no one goes with it, and it doesn't get that pinched into the rail factor that you
Yeah.
get on the 5.5, where it might just actually be able to clear. And so what I'm going to want to do is actually get a little bit spready with the outside posts here, and use the 7 Mo Me Mo My, and the 6 the little more favored voting agreement. Mo Me Mo My is the one on the Briz pace that actually looks like it could be a early pace contender to Stop War. Which, if that's the case, with kind of cheap speed like that, I feel like being just a little bit more forwardly placed might help out. I don't really see Stop War getting out there and being able to burn it down on the front end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 3 more outwardly placed horses that I like, mainly Sparkling Sky, the 3, Voting Agreement, the 6, and Mo Me Mo My, the 7, who might end up being my top pick there just for the outside post. And you know, who knows if something goes awry, Mo Me Mo My could be on the lead with, a bunch of horses that really do not know the lead and could just maybe just walk away with it. So what I'm going to do is use those 3, 6, 7 in that pick 3, which would be the second leg for the one that I started in race 2, and the first leg in the one that I'm starting in race 3. And then I'm going to put a little exacta together. Instead of boxing, instead of key boxing, I'm going to structure it with 6, 7 on top and put them on top of 3, 6, 7.
Yeah, again, like that as well. And it's interesting because we both had the same thought process here, but we ended up on very different horses, and you didn't say a horse that I was a little bit shocked that you didn't. So I see the pace setup a little different personally. I think Stop War probably desperately needs a lead, but I don't think Stop War is necessarily fast enough to get it. So, Christophe Clement has been absolutely red hot, a couple wins on the meet today. But I think somebody like a Peaceful, in my mind, the 2 horse, and the other horse that I thought was another speed was Voting Agreement, the 6. I thought those were both your 2 speeds. The trip I sort of like here is the 3, Sparkling Sky. This horse has come from well out of it a couple times, has a win and a second across the surface. It a little bit further, and I don't know, I necessarily know why they're cutting this horse back to a sprint, but I don't necessarily dislike it. I'm hoping this isn't a tune-up race, and I'm hoping that this horse gets a bunch of speed up front to run into. Jose is going to probably keep the horse a little bit more forwardly placed, and should have that pocket trip run style where they can get a flyer late.
And Peaceful, the two horse, actually was a horse that I, you know, of my first cut through here, I had four horses that I was considering, and it was Peaceful, Voting Agreement, Mo Me Mo My, and Sparkling Sky. So I'm with you on the two. I like it. I want to try to take the chance against the inside two posts. Um, when I say the inside on those 5.5, I'm not necessarily meaning just the one post, the rail. I'm usually honestly thinking like the one through the three. So that's why I'm a little more heavy on 6 and 7 with tossing in a little bit of the three and gonna try to get around the two.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you here. I think the two is going to take an absolute boatload of money in here. I think this is another horse that might be shorter than even money on the fact that if you are somebody that looks at speed figures, this horse towers on speed figures. Now, my concern here is a couple of parts. First thing, the two best speed figures in the race of any horse are the last two races by Peaceful, but the horse hasn't found the winner's circle. And the other thing that really concerns me here is JJ got off to get onto the Chad horse here. Now, obviously, he's gonna probably take the mount because that's probably good for him further down the road. But I would think that he would have stayed on Peaceful if he thought a lot of this horse. And and TGAF gets up, and TGAF's obviously a very good jock. Have no problem there. But I sort of it makes me sort of scratch my head and want to go some other places. So I end up being 2, 3, 6 here in this same sequence. I'm going to probably be pretty heavy on the one in the previous race, and I'll be probably staring at the doubles pools and seeing how this shakes up for how I want to play it out.
Yeah, with Peaceful, I mean, it is kind of interesting that even through a or a trainer change from Jonathan Thomas to Michael Stidham, you see two names, and it's Bravo and Castellano, and they've both seemed to like the horse and have gotten on it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Castellano 3 times, in fact. But you got to think that maybe Castellano thinks that Peaceful might be a little bit photo shy.
Yeah, that was kind of my take on the situation as well. And so that's getting around a horse that I think will be much shorter than 8 to 5. So looking into the fourth race, what are you seeing here?
Oh, I love 7 furlong races. God damn it, I love 7 furlong races
All the
because
bias, all of it.
yes, it's just dripping. We hear about horses dripping and pedigree and everything. The 7 furlong distance is just absolutely dripping in bias, and it gives you the opportunity to kind of play. Shout out to Popo from the Shake Up, because you really play kind of like Popo pick threes or daily double.
Mm-hmm.
You're really kind of spreading out with the horses that fit the bias and hoping for the price to come in. Um, so with that being said, I really like three horses here that I was probably going to use in the pick threes and also in my pick four, which was the 6 Stay Fond, the 8 Blunt Force, and let's see, check the notes. Pardon me.
Yeah, I would imagine we're probably on real similar horses here. I think both of us have been playing against this sort of rail at 7 furlongs, looking for these horses that are more outside drawn, who have more options outside, and can sort of, again, find that trip. We saw it happen a couple times today, not necessarily at 7, they didn't run a bunch of those, but where these horses that, I think in here, Malarkey the 5 ends up being sort of, either the 4 Cotton Candy Cutie or Malarkey are probably going to be, and also Cold Hearted Pearl will be very forwardly placed. So you're going to have quite a bit of speed, and I want that sort of second tier runner in here. And the two that jump off the page for me are the two you mentioned. It's the 6 Stefan should be able to sit off that pace, along with Blunt Force. I think even more so. I think Blunt Force, the sort of run style perfectly fits here. Now Kendrick doesn't have a win on the meet yet, but I think that sort of setup is perfect. And I think you had a third one that you were interested in here as well. Uh oh, looks like Chase may have frozen on me here. Give him a second, see if he catches up. Well, let's do this. I'll keep talking and see if he lost him. There he is. Oh, he's back. Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah, from what I could hear from the robot talk that you're giving there, it sounds like we're really kind of seeing this one the same. Should be
You're going all robot on me again, Chase.
that early speed a little more inwardly drawn. And I heard you have to do this again.
We've lost him again. Yeah, so I would imagine we're both thinking the same thing here. Knowing Chase and I, we're probably looking at this from playing these sort of more outside drawn horses. I think Malarkey. Hopefully, Jose is smart enough to take this horse back just a little bit, sit off from Cotton Candy Cutie and Cold Hearted Pearl, who both probably arguably need the lead here. That's how they've sort of historically won. Hopefully, Malarkey can sit a little bit off. If Malarkey can test this pace early, I don't think the horse has much of a chance, but it is one that I want to use. And the other two horses that I did want in here were Stay Fond and Blunt Force. Yeah, maybe Chase is coming back. Is he coming back? Maybe.
Are we good now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Are we good? Okay, great. So, yeah. Once again, through what I heard before my Wi-Fi took a gigantic shit on itself. So yeah, Blunt Force very much going to be getting the trip that I want. The one piece of inside speed that I actually do want a little bit, and this is because it was a stable horse for me that I noted as having a little bit of trouble last out, was the 3 Cold Hearted Pearl. So the 3, 6, and 8 are going to be my plays in that pick 3, and then also in my pick 4.
Yeah, I would say Cold Hearted Pearl, I think, has had trouble the last 2 trips. So that's a horse that I think, is somewhat usable here, in some sort of capacity. I just don't know if it gets the right setup here. So let's see if Chase gets back and we can get on to the 5th.
Yep. So in the 5th, this 5.5 sprint. This is one again where I'm gonna probably be keying in on more outside horses. I haven't seen any works reports. It is a maiden race, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult to go 100% by what I say tonight. This might change after I see works reports tonight or tomorrow. But once again, I'm going to be trying to kind of spread out with outwardly drawn horses. Specifically looking at Jill's a Hot Mess, Nomo Spending, and the 9 Sambarella, I believe a first-time starter for Jeremiah Englehart with Jose Ortiz aboard. That the horse is out of a mare that's had two runners actually make the gate. Both of them have won. One of those being a stakes winner, and the horses out of this mare, 100% winners out of have won as 2-year-olds 100% of the time. So 2 for 2 for 2-year-olds.
Yeah, no, agreed. Just so you know, I did take a look at the works. 9 is your works horse in here, with a couple really good works coming into this. And I think Sambarella will probably take a ton of money in here. $500,000 purchase for Gold Square. Outwork has been sort of one of those new up-and-coming sires that's a bit hot. I would imagine they are dropping this horse in here. Probably super live first out, trying to make a good impression at Saratoga for the sire side of the world and the stud side of the world. And I completely agree with you here on the 9. The other horse that I really wanted was the 5, Going Gone. Arad getting up for Rudy after the day Arad had. He is probably probably going to take a ton of money on this 5 as well. But, horse had a troubled trip last out for Dermot Magner, and horse here, I don't think Rudy's sticking this horse here just to take a trip around the track. It's Nice Guys Stables who've won a bunch at Saratoga. I would imagine this horse is very, very well meant here. And I also always love when I see a horse that sort of tosses a dud coming out of a low percentage stable, coming into a much higher percentage stable, and a big jock takes note. This horse, you're probably getting quite a bit of value here. And I think this horse has a pretty solid, as far as siblings are concerned. 3 of the 4 siblings are winners, with one of them that's won a black type. So they have Mr. Messina. So I think the 5 here is also super interesting.
Yeah, Jill's Hot Mess was the one that really kind of piqued my interest with the speed then fade at Belmont last time. Maybe the horse can kid has learned to rate a little bit and won't be so hot after the lead, which they it looks like they either tried to do or he just didn't make the lead and folded in his first outing. But ran really strong in a 5 furlong race at Belmont on June 18th, and was up by a length and a half going into the stretch. Eric Cancel, he got one bomb home yesterday. I don't think this one is near going to be the 45-1 or whatever it was that got home on Wednesday, but I feel like Jill's a Hot Mess could be a pretty good little play there. And with these 2-year-old races, I feel like this is one that's just screaming for my friend Mark here's favorite new play, the box exacta, using 5, 6, and 8.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I'm sort of shocked that we're very much on the same horses. I was not on your 6, but the 8 I'm definitely on. No Mo Spendin, the Ian Wilkes horse in here. Ian Wilkes actually has a win on the meet. Now, and this is one of those ones again. I think stats can be deceiving. Maiden second time out. Ian Wilkes is not a high percentage trainer, but when you see him shipping a horse from Churchill to New York, where he does not have a big barn, and he happens to just ship up really good horses here that he wants to show off with. So I think this 8 No Mo Spendin, JJ takes notice here, is probably also one that you really have to be considering on your tickets. And the horse also happens to be a full brother to Blewett, who is actually a fairly decent horse. So yeah, I would say your 8 makes a lot of sense in here. For me, again, I may do an exacta box here and try to get the 5, 8, and 9 together, because I think I like these big deep fields where those exactas pay.
Yeah, while I like the 9, using the 9 in those pick threes and that pick 4 to end it. I feel like within an exacta box, especially if that horse is going to take a ton of money, if you're going to use it, you almost have to key box it, so that you're saving a couple dollars there and not diluting any profits that you might see from it. Which it's only saving $2 if you're doing it from the $1 exacta box standpoint, but if you're doing it from like a $10 exacta box, you're talking about saving about $20.
Like exactly $20 even.
Yeah, around there exactly.
Around there exactly. Yeah. No. I completely agreed with you here. Again, these maiden races are kind of fun because, and what I like about this sequence, and I really haven't said it, is I think a couple of these earlier legs, the first leg, second leg, and third leg, arguably you can be, if you're an AB style ticket player, you could potentially single A all 3 of those legs. And you could then get into this late sequence where you get a little spready. So hopefully you get home some of the chalk early and you catch a price or two in here, and all of a sudden this pick 4, pick 5, pays like, the late today I don't think was super hard to have, and it paid $650 for a 50 cents. So that's, pretty solid ROI if you can, string something together. And I think this sequence is very playable. I think you were talking about a couple of pick threes. I like that structure because if you do get knocked out of one leg, a bomb happens to come in, you can roll another one back. They're not as expensive, and you can have some pretty good ROI playing that sort of rolling or structured pick threes. I have a tendency, I may want to leverage up a pick 4 here. That was sort of my gut, and try to have a couple of singles in here. They'd be soft singles that have horses behind them as B's or C's, but then spreading these last 2 legs a little more.
So just for academics and for record keeping, so my the pick 4 that I'm talking about is going to be 1-7 with 3-6-7 with 4-6-8 with 6-8-9, and my pick 3 that I was going to start with race 2, 1-7 with 3-6-7 with 4-6-8, and then race 3, 3-6-7 with 4-6-8 with 6-8-9. So going actually a little bit wider than I like to in pick 3s normally, and also in pick 4s. I'm literally with pick 4s, if it's like a 12, if it's more than about $12-$18, I feel like I don't deserve to hit it anyway. So trying to roll it and then kind of capture it all together in my pick 4 to hit, hopefully really just capitalize on all my opinions through that sequence.
Oh man, I like it. That's good. And I think even if you saw it today, you didn't have to get a big price into the pick 3s for them to pay quite a bit. So I think
the beauty of the $1 base.
Yeah, it's the beauty of the $1 base as the pots aren't as efficient, but also I think today was a pretty logical day, and a 5 or 6 to 1 all of a sudden made those, what would have been a $20 pick three pay, $100. It really ramps up those payouts. So yeah, no, I like how your structure is here, and I think you're making a lot of sense. So I think we're going to call it there. That's kind of the structure we wanted to look at. Uh, we're on the wrong lead. I will throw up an AM Wager referral link in the description. If you
AM Wager.
if you are looking for an ADW, they have a really killer, and you're going to be playing a lot of Saratoga. They have a promo going on where you get 10% back for your first $500.
Bonus.
So it's a pretty killer reward, pretty killer give back, and really rewards the player for their volume, which is how I like to see these things structured. Yeah, that'll do it for us. And until next time, good luck with their aces.